Hello, I'm Joel Blackford with Beth Hassett Sabbath Fellowship. We're virtual only, based out of St. Paul, Minnesota. The phone number works if you'd like to contact us. We do the thought behind the thought, the philosophy of eschatology. What's driving the issues that you're watching today? What you need to know, your reality, our existence. We solve little pieces of Revelation each week. And really, we're working on Revelation 13 and really the fall of Western civilization, which is Revelation 6. But also parts of it are in Revelation 13, and we're more discussing that when, why, things like that. We just got done with No Kings Day, which is 10/18 of 2025, and really we don't have kings, okay? We have a constitutional republic. So what's going on? It's really a multifaceted war against logical, normal people, thinkers. And some people are smiling. I'm not smiling so much. We're in the philosophy of the end of days. That's what we're discussing. We're trying to teach you the Bible, give you prophecy. There are some prophetic words at the end of the video, and give you the news. So the news is that Zohran Mamdani is at 44%. He's going to win the race for mayor of New York. And he is a radical communist and he is an Islamicist. So this is horrible. But this is also part of prophecy. And keep in mind, down below his picture, you'll see from Erdogan, President Erdogan of Turkey, the term moderate Islam is ugly and offensive. There is no moderate Islam. Islam is Islam. Now, I'm arguing that this is going to cause Jews from New York City to make Aliyah. But on the right hand side, President Trump knows, and now it's time for him to act. Islam hates us. You can't distinguish between radical Islam and Islam. You can't tell who's who. And so we're fighting now against many faceted battles or armies coming against us. And it's all causing the aliyah of the Jews back to Israel. So God's calling them home. Okay. This is another issue. Great Britain is in dire straits and they have nukes. When will they point them elsewhere? Basil the Great says, wow, Tony Blair actually said the quiet bit out loud. Britain's future has got to be the nation of global citizens, not just British citizens. This was the plan all along. He is the mastermind behind the end of the country, a truly evil man. As a global, just global citizen. So once again, it's for Aliyah. The Jews in Britain need to leave, okay? And you can see how one person drags another person out of the water, saves them, and then gets stabbed. So why invade a country when you can just buy its institutions, turn its women against its men, make transvestites of its children, sell the wealth generated by its labor to foreign investors, then introduce a foreign army as refugees and diversity to finish it off? There you go. When will Great Britain fall? Possibly soon. France is already falling. Belgium is in dire straits. So, Israel, we're watching another war. It's getting hot again over in Gaza. The IDF says resuming Gaza ceasefire after a deadly attack on troops leads to massive strikes. So this is just a few minutes ago. I'm recording on the 18th today, or is it the 19th? I've forgotten already. But basically, the army launched attacks at Hamas because Hamas went across the yellow line. You can see that picture down below. 2 soldiers killed, 3 wounded in an attack on troops in Gaza. IDF launches wave of strikes on Hamas. Okay, just a few minutes ago. Once again, it's safer to be in Israel right now. And by the way, this is from the Times of Israel, but it's safer to be in Israel in warfare than it is to be in Europe. So making Aliyah is the point of the video. Okay. I argue we're in the birth pangs, which is the same as the seals as far as I'm concerned. And the first phase of it seems to be when the West falls, when there's deception. And I'll show you that in the next slide. Then the next phase is snatching peace, lakak shalom, I call it, which is Hebrew. And then the third seal is inflation, brutal inflation. The fourth is 4 deadly plagues. Then the fifth is martyrdom. And then the sixth is a micronova with a blood moon eclipse. Well, those things seem to be occurring right now. Many of those things seem to be occurring. And so I believe it's all linear and we're moving horribly forward. So, according to Rick Renner, who's a Greek scholar, he said the first thing that you'll see, the sign before Jesus arrives, is that the spirits of delusion will be released upon the earth. So the word deceive tells us that there will be mass divergence from time-tested biblical standards at the end of the age. Jesus foretold that a moment was coming when society would move away from the long-affirmed laws of Scripture. We don't preach. Well, you'll see this from the lady from Norway, the 90-year-old lady, in a much later slide than this. But basically, we move away from what is logical and what's been taught in the Bible for many, many years. We're a prosperity church right now. So there will be a worldwide moral wandering. It would be the first, foremost, and primary sign to alert us that the end is near. That is precisely why he named it first in his list of signs. And that's based off Matthew 24:4. So that's Rick Renner's article. So I believe the first seal is open. It opened in 6/6 of 67 as Israel was given a gift from God, Jerusalem, and it said, we don't really want the Temple Mount, and we really don't even want Jerusalem that much, okay? And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard one of the four living creatures saying, as if it were a voice of thunder, "Come and behold." And I saw, behold, a white horse, and he who was sitting on it, having a bow, that's toxon in the Greek, and keshet in the Hebrew, which is like a rainbow. It is, okay? And but it has other meanings to that. And there was given to him a garland, so that's what he wears on his head. It's not a crown; it's more like a garland, a winter's garland. And he went forth overcoming, not conquering, overcoming. We're being overcome by the Eastern nations, and the West is dying, and so that he may overcome Western civilization. Revelation 6:1-2. So, but it's also Revelation 13. We're going to be attacked more violently as it moves along. This is just overcoming right now. This is an article from De Gruyter Brill, University of California Press, from 1968 to Radical Islam, from Gerard Chaliand and Arnaud Blin, from the Historian of Contemporary Terrorism. 4 years stand out as a turning point: 68, 79, 83, and 2001. In 1968, Latin American insurgents launched their so-called urban guerrilla strategy, and Palestinians initiated the tactic of terrorism as a publicity stunt, which soon evolved into a serious set of violence. As we have seen, both undertook terroristic type activities as a substitute for guerrilla warfare, but neither was competent to wage guerrilla warfare. Not in these environments. So on the right-hand side, I'm arguing that the Temple Mount was won by Israel, and it was a gift from God, and that's Shlomo Goren, which his name means threshing floor, which is so amazing. It's so cool that he would be the one blowing the shofar, reading the Torah, and what an amazing victory, and they handed it back. So that's the first seal, and I believe it's two pieces. It's two horns, I call it, radical Islam and cultural Marxism. So Obama is really the reference on the Islam side, and Hillary Clinton is cultural Marxism, and it's getting worse. It's much worse now. But this is God sending the Israelites back, or the Jews back home. So the Red-Green Alliance poses a dual threat to the West and Israel. Okay, this is from the Jerusalem Center of Security and Foreign Affairs. The recent D.C. murders and Boulder attacks illustrate the danger of violence and subversion posed by Marxist radicals and Islamists as they actively work to destroy democratic values and spread anti-Semitism. So the two people that died were Aaron Lashinsky and Sarah Milgram, and then this Mohammed Sabri Suleiman attacks. These two epitomized the Red-Green Alliance, according to this Jerusalem Center. And so they're fueled by violent criminal act and broader subversive efforts against the United States, against Western civilization, and Israel. But Israel is better at protecting themselves. And so that Red-Green Alliance are ever more present with pro-Hamas protests on campus and in the streets. And Red-Green Alliance describes tactical collaboration between two groups that, despite their differences, share a common goal: the dismantling of Western liberal democracy and the destruction of the Jewish state. So that's the problem. The Greens, driven by Islamist ideologues such as those in the Muslim Brotherhood and Iranian Islamic Revolution, seek a global Islamic caliphate or messianic Mahdiism, seeing the West and Israel as the primary obstacles to that vision. Yes, they're correct. And as I mentioned, Hillary Clinton is part of it. She's using Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. You can pause and read any of these slides. And so power is not only what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. So they're using these tactics to break us down. We're at war with cultural Marxism and radical Islam. And once again, I think it's the two horns, okay? And so Daniel 8:3 talks about these different beasts, and Revelation 13:11 talks about the two beasts. I'm saying, The second beast of 1311 is the false prophet. And so Sharia Islam and institutional communism, cultural Marxism, what Obama and Hillary are foisting upon us, cause chaos and fracture Western civilization. We don't know how to fight against it. Another article, this is from Town Hall, the Marx Jihad fusion, more dangerous together than either parent. Okay, when you put them together, it's much worse. They make uneasy bedfellows. They hate each other. Demons hate each other too. But the first is a toolbox of economic and cultural critique, class exploitation, commodity fetishism, imperial plunder, and ideological hegemony, ready-made concepts for diagnosing why so many Muslim-majority societies remain poor, corrupt, and geopolitically humiliated. The second is the moral vacuum at the heart of materialist utopias. Communism promised bread and equality, but never could explain why people should bother living once those rations were distributed. Islamicism supplies what missing why in thunderous poetic Arabic. The fusion of Marxist analytics and Islamist eschatology is not merely extremism with better branding. Yeah, it's just a better brand. We don't know how to fight against it. We don't know this. We shouldn't even allow them to be in office. You'll recognize those candidates there that are in office. They can't pledge allegiance to our U.S. Constitution. They don't. And so this person named Marco Linux says the red-green alliance, red of communism, green of Islam. Also, you could add the brown of fascism, which goes back to the Nazis and the Arabs prior to World War II. But you can also add in the confusion of the sexes that's going on. It just breaks down society. And so they're demanding worshiping BLM, communism, worshiping trans mental illness, worshiping radical Islam, PLO, Palestine Liberation Organization, liberalism, godlessness, drugs, pharmakia, witchcraft, sorcery, big media, anarchy, Holocaust. They're worshiping the Moloch system, and they want us to worship with them. We don't want to. Now we're up to the prophecy section. Wow. So this is the 1968 prophecy from a Norwegian woman. She's 90 years of age at that point in time. So this wasn't reported until about 1998. So 30 years later, evangelist Emmanuel Minos talked about these things and he put it in his Bible and he laughed about it until 1998 and realized it's happening. So she saw the time before the coming of Jesus and the outbreak of the Third World War. I saw the events with her natural eyes. I saw a new kind of a globe and saw Europe land by land. I saw Scandinavia, saw Norway, saw certain things that would take place just before the return of Jesus, just before the calamities, just before World War III. She mentioned 4 waves and all surmise. First, before Jesus comes and before the Third World War breaks out, there will be a détente. And we've had that. We've had about 70 years plus of détente, like we've never had before. There will be peace between the superpowers of the East and the West, and there will be a long peace, and we've had that. Lukewarmness of Christians. Oh, we have that. Moral disintegration. Oh, yeah, we have that. People from poor countries will stream to Europe. We've never seen that before, but it's happening. That's technically the fourth horseman of Revelation 6:8. Jesus will come and the Third World War breaks out. The Third World War won't happen until Jesus returns. Sorry, I have multiple people saying that. And so the guys that are screaming war, it's a different kind of a war. It's not the war where you can put up your dukes and fight. So on the right-hand side, all that I have seen of war before this is only child's play compared to this one. And it will be ended with a nuclear atomic bomb. And the air will be so polluted that one cannot draw one's breath. It will cover several continents, America, Japan, Australia, the wealthy nations. The water will be ruined. Oh yeah, that's in the Bible. That's Revelation 7:16. It'll be contaminated. We no longer till the soil because it'll be ruined. The result will be only a remnant will remain. The remnant and the wealthy countries will try to flee to the poor countries, but they will be as hard on them as we were on them. There you go. Dmitry Duduman, wonderful prophet from the 80s, and his grandson is Michael Bodea. Remember this, Dmitry? The Russian spies have discovered where the nuclear warehouses are in America. When the Americans will think that it is peace and safety from the middle of the country, some of the people will start fighting against, I believe, the Trump's government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the ocean, from Cuba, Nicaragua, Mexico. He told me 2 others, but I couldn't remember what they were. They will bomb the nuclear warehouses. When they explode, America will burn. More specifically, according to David Wilkerson, the Great Holocaust follows an economic collapse in America. The enemy will make its move when we are weak and helpless. Well, we're getting there. Wilkerson said the economic holocaust happens, then the Civil War. He agrees with Dudeman, and then we would be nuked after that. Dimitri called it a revolution. Wilkerson called it the Civil War. He qualified that it's nothing like the Civil War of the 1860s. Our entire outlook on life is about to change. The way we pray, the way we think, everything is going to be different. Drastic changes always follow in nations where all peace has been taken. That's the phrase again, Lakat Shalom from Wilkerson. That would be the second seal of the second horseman. Boldea says it this way in his radio address. He believes riots will start after the election, so that would be now. I have no doubt that the riots will start soon and they will continue for a long time. A key cause Wilkerson mentioned will be food shortages and food inflation, and he emphasized race riots. So we're in different types of warfare right now. My friend Don is the person that compiled this for me. I'm not accurate in the statistics, but the ballpark, almost 70% of Americans are white. Before Biden opened the borders, refugees have been given preferential dollar treatment by over both white and blacks, and they resent that. So there will be riots at some point in time. According to Natan from 2015, Jewish boy that was really not religious at all, and then fell in love with God, and he's an Orthodox Jew now. Obama is Gog from Magog, and so it's a screen capture from that video, and so very interesting. So according to Natan, all the world will want Jerusalem, and that's biblical. And he obviously didn't read it. Natan described a vision of Gog and Magog. It's going to be something that is called a very big war, and everybody, the whole world, will be involved in that war. Everybody, all the Goyim nations and all the Arabs, everyone will come against the nation of Israel and will fight in that war. The person who will start the war will be somebody named Gog. I'm certain of who it is, President Obama. He will be the one who starts that war. That's a picture, again, a screen capture of him with his rabbi sitting next to him. Everything came to him in a near-death experience. Okay, and Obama is back somewhat. This is October 17th from the Christian Post. Obama accuses liberals of adopting holier-than-thou superiority akin to dangerous moral majority. Yeah, so Obama, he's figuring out that liberals are annoying, and so you can't just be a scold all the time. You can't constantly lecture people without acknowledging that you've got some blind spots too, and life's messy. So he's coming back, people. He's coming back as Gog. Now, he's bringing both aspects of radical Islam and communism to us, and he's pushing it because he's Gog. The idea is to bring socialism to America without the people realizing the country is being socialized. That's from 2014. Before Obama's presidency, there was no ISIS, there was no caliphate, there was no Black Lives Matter, there was no Antifa, there was no war on police. He built all of those things. He's a Messiah-like figure. And you can't read it very well, but down below it's the Septuagint for Amos 7:11. He is a Gog-like guy. He's the locust king, okay, from Amos 7:11. I'll read that to you later on the last slide. Obama, Messiah, he's messianic, and he's a locust king. So he carries these things with him and more. Rosary beads. Hindu god Hanuman, who is a monkey god, half monkey, half human, chimera. A metal poker chip. Coptic cross, weird stuff, guys, okay, and other stuff. When he came into power in 2008, he modeled it after Antipas, where the Revelation 2:13, where Antipas, this martyr, was killed at the seat of Satan, okay, and so he set up the seat of Satan in 2008. He is Gog, people. Just get ready for it. And Gog is different than the Antichrist. Gog will work with the kings against Israel to externally forge a 70-nation agreement to attack Israel. Simultaneously, the UN trusts Obama. He will destabilize and attack. The AC, the Antichrist, would work internally to deceive Israel into believing that he can bring them peace. Jews don't trust Obama. They don't. Every Orthodox beastly effort will bring curses from God. So it'll be a betrayal. You'll have two different guys playing, and the Antichrist is different than Gog, Obama. Okay, so he is Gog, and thus the Lord has showed me, and behold, a swarm of locusts coming from the east. like the 200 million person army that pops up in Revelation 9 and Revelation 16. And one caterpillar king, King Gog, from Amos 7:1. He seems to be the leader. So where are we? We're in the birth pangs. We're not in the tribulation. We're not in the great tribulation. We're waiting for a wedding that's coming up. You need clean clothes. You can't be naked. One of those dates. Thank you very much for your time. God bless you. And we will see you again next week. God bless. Bye-bye.